the sick, the wounded. Strong.
The Legend of Tarzan is envisioned as a sweeping action-adventure drama that reimagines the iconic jungle hero not as a myth in his prime, but as a man caught between two worlds. Rather than retelling Tarzan's origin, the film begins after the legend has already been written. Tarzan has left the jungle behind, exchanged vines for suits, and attempted to live a civilized life far from the wild that shaped him. This version of the story treats Tarzan as a figure of conflict and consequence, exploring what happens when a man cannot fully escape who he once was. The tone balances epic spectacle with emotional weight, blending lush jungle imagery, political intrigue, and personal struggle. The center of the story is Tarzan himself, now living under his given name, attempting to adapt to a structured world of rules, diplomacy, and social expectations. Though he appears calm and composed on the surface, the jungle still lives inside him. His instincts, memories, and connection to nature remain powerful forces that civilization cannot erase. This internal conflict drives the film, presenting Tarzan as a man divided between the order of society and the freedom of the wild. His journey is less about discovering who he is and more about accepting all parts of himself. Alongside Tarzan is Jane, portrayed not merely as a love interest but as an equal partner. Intelligent, courageous, and emotionally grounded, Jane represents Tarzan's anchor to humanity. She understands both the man he has become and the legend he once was. Her role is essential in shaping the film's emotional depth, as she challenges Tarzan to confront the truth rather than retreat into either world completely. Jane's presence reinforces the idea that strength does not come only from physical power, but from empathy, conviction, and moral clarity. The supporting cast expands the scope of the story beyond personal conflict into global consequence. Political figures, explorers, and military forces enter the narrative, each driven by their own ambitions. The antagonist is imagined as a ruthless and calculating figure whose desire for control and wealth leads him to exploit the Congo and its people. His plans are rooted in colonial greed, using diplomacy as a mask for brutality. Rather than being a simple villain, he embodies the destructive consequences of power unchecked by morality. The plot unfolds when Tarzan is invited to return to the Congo, under the guise of diplomacy and reconciliation. Though hesitant, he senses that something is wrong. The journey back to Africa becomes the turning point of the film, visually and emotionally. As the jungle slowly reclaims him, Tarzan's instincts sharpen, his memories resurface, and his bond with the land reignites. The environment is portrayed not just as a setting, but as a living presence, beautiful, dangerous, and deeply interconnected. As the story progresses, it becomes clear that the invitation was a trap. The antagonist seeks to capture Tarzan, using his legend and strength as tools for exploitation. The jungle is no longer just Tarzan's home, but a battlefield where nature, humanity, and greed collide. The film uses action sequences not simply for spectacle, but to highlight the contrast between industrialized violence and the raw power of the natural world. Gunfire clashes with silence, steel meets vine, and strategy confronts instinct. Tarzan's relationship with the jungle is explored through memory and movement. Flashbacks reveal fragments of his past, not as exposition, but as emotional echoes triggered by familiar sounds, scents, and landscapes. These moments reinforce the idea that the jungle shaped Tarzan's identity long before civilization tried to redefine it. His physicality is portrayed as fluid and animalistic, yet controlled, emphasizing that his strength comes from harmony with nature rather than dominance over it. Jane's arc grows, increasingly vital as the danger escalates. She is not sidelined by the conflict, but actively involved, using her knowledge, resolve, and bravery to survive and resist captivity. Her resilience challenges traditional portrayals, presenting her as a woman who stands firm in the face of violence and manipulation. Her relationship with Tarzan deepens through shared adversity, showing that their bond is built on trust and equality rather than rescue or dependency. The film also introduces the perspective of the local people, highlighting the impact of colonial exploitation on communities and land. This element grounds the story in historical weight, transforming the conflict into something larger than individual survival. Tarzan's connection to these people reinforces his role not as a ruler, but as a protector, someone who belongs to the jungle not by conquest, but by coexistence. As the narrative builds toward its climax, Tarzan is forced to confront his greatest fear, that embracing his true nature means losing the life he has built. The antagonist exploits this fear, pushing Tarzan to choose between restraint and action. This emotional struggle culminates in a series of intense confrontations where Tarzan must fully accept that he cannot abandon the jungle, nor can he live solely within it. He must become a bridge between worlds. The action in the final act is imagined as raw and visceral. Rather than relying on exaggerated heroics, the film emphasizes physical exhaustion, pain, and determination. Tarzan's movements are powerful but grounded, his victories earned through endurance and instinct. The jungle itself becomes an ally, responding to his presence as if recognizing one of its own. This symbiosis underscores the film's central theme: true strength comes from understanding. Where you belong, the climax resolves not with domination, but with consequence. The antagonist's downfall is tied directly to his disregard for nature and humanity, reinforcing the film's moral core. Tarzan's victory is not triumphant in a traditional sense. It is heavy with loss, responsibility, and acceptance. He does not reclaim the jungle as a king, but as a guardian who understands its fragility. In the aftermath, the film slows to reflect on the cost of conflict. Tarzan and Jane face the reality that their lives will never be simple. Civilization and the wild will always pull at them in opposite directions. Yet, instead of choosing one over the other, they redefine what home means. The ending suggests a balance rather than a resolution, honoring both the man and the myth. The imagined performances are grounded and restrained, focusing on physical storytelling and emotional subtlety. Tarzan is portrayed with quiet intensity, allowing silence and movement to speak louder than dialogue. Jane's performance adds warmth and strength, while the antagonist delivers controlled menace rather than theatrical evil. Together, the cast creates a story that feels human despite its epic scale. The Legend of Tarzan is positioned as a visually rich theatrical experience, emphasizing practical environments, sweeping landscapes, and immersive sound design. The jungle is presented in vivid detail, not romanticized but respected, capturing both its beauty and danger. The film's release is imagined as a major summer event, appealing to audiences seeking action, adventure, and emotional depth. The trailer is imagined as atmospheric and powerful, opening with quiet images of civilization before cutting to the raw intensity of the jungle. Brief glimpses of action are balanced with moments of introspection, highlighting Tarzan's internal struggle. The music builds slowly, blending tribal rhythms with orchestral tension, ending on a note that promises spectacle grounded in story. Overall, The Legend of Tarzan is imagined as more than a simple adventure film. It is a story about identity, belonging, and the cost of denying one's true nature. By reimagining Tarzan as a man shaped by both civilization and the wild, the film delivers a powerful exploration of what it means to find balance in a world defined by conflict. It honors the legend while grounding it in emotional realism, creating a cinematic experience that resonates beyond the jungle itself.